hell, it's full of shit. You know what I'm saying? On top of it not working. Or the heat don't work in there, or the air don't work in there, and stuff like that. Like, they were showing, like, inside, like, they didn't have room to have them, like, in private cells, so they may have 30 prisoners in this one big cell that, like, say the air don't work in there. And they all in there got to have their shirts off because the air don't work.
Well, let me throw this at you.
Uh-huh.
For the people out there who really couldn't care less, or maybe thinking like, well, it really don't affect me or none of my loved ones, if you ain't got none of that and that. You know, when you living in filth, hell, just ask California. All them bums shitting in the street. And now you got diseases running rampant. That's exactly what's going to happen in these prisons. You know, that stuff don't necessarily stay in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, we really can't have just a cesspool and a... Man, Jackson already number 2 in STDs, bro.
Yeah.
Number 2 in the nation, man. Do you hear me?
Which is crazy.
Up from like 13.
Yeah.
If you out there and you enjoy you some good sushi, if you like doing it raw,
Yeah.
some sashimi, you a fool. But anyway, really, you know, just no. We don't need no added cesspool of disease. You know what I mean? We gotta get that under control, man.
You know what? But it's always been like that. I don't ever remember a time that it wasn't like that. It's been like that for a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because you got all these rural areas of this area. Because I don't think it's more Jackson as it is Mississippi. Because you got all these rural areas that folks ain't got nothing else to do but be fucking. That's all they got. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's like some of these rural areas, they don't have nowhere to go and nothing to see. All they got to do is do some hunching.
Everybody got rubbers, man. I mean, it's a lot of people that like to just do it raw.
Yeah, you're right about that, though, about the rubber part. You're right about that.
I mean, that's insane, man.
But that's why I get passed around so fast, because it's small communities and you know, the neighborhood hoe is passing around everybody. Oh.
Yeah, but Pimp, I don't think, I personally, I don't believe brothers are really well informed. I don't think they know. You know, there's some stuff out there now that'll give you dick cancer. Now, can you imagine being faced with the decision, your dick or your life?
I'm a dead man. Oh, okay. Like, we gonna have to hang it off, goddamn it. You gonna have to hang it off, or you gonna have to just face with, I'm a dead man. Yeah, I had a good run.
The first date is the clinic. For real, man, you gotta value your life, man.
You know what? This ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But since you don't brought up a motherfucker choosing between his dick and cut off his life, why was I watching some vampire movie or something? And part of the metamorphosis of the person turning into the vampire, I guess the farther he went into being a vampire, that I guess vampire is neither male or female on this movie for some strange reason.
Oh, damn.
So the dude is taking, I mean, it's like a process. Like, it took him like 2 weeks or something to fully turn into this ghoul or whatever he is. So while he's standing in front of the toilet taking a piss, right, all of a sudden his thing just falls off in the toilet. I'm like, ah! That whole scene it haunted me for days. It just threw me off. I was like, what the? Who wrote this movie? Oh. Ban them from ever writing any more films. Because Jesus. Dude, oh, you know what? And he flushed it. He sure did. I forgot about that part. He flushed it. I'm like, then you flushed it, Jesus. Like, Jesus. First of all, I'm like, how's your dick small enough to actually, go down the toilet? That's horrible. Oh, okay. But, dude, that was the most disturbing scene. It ain't had nothing to do with the conversation we was talking about, but I'm just sorry. I had to just share that because that was a disturbing scene that I have ever seen in film in my life because they made it seem realistic as fuck. I was like, oh my God. Why, Jesus? Even as a vampire, you're supposed to kill yourself right there. Like, I don't even have a reason for going on. This is it. This is horrible. And you know what I ain't like about it? His reaction, like he didn't do anything. He didn't react no type of way. I'm like, an average man would have passed out. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, oh my God. It is so over. I'm about to pick this up and get it sold back on or something. I was like, shit.
Yeah, right.
Are y'all feeling okay?
All right, we're back on the subject. This just threw me off. But still talk about this prison system, man. It's out of control, man. Because even in prison, dude, we still in America now. A lot of people like to be like they got it coming because they're prisoners. But these are not like, well, the penitentiary is. A lot of these people are not like hardened criminals. Some of these people are in jail just for having DUIs, for God's sakes. You know what I'm saying? like they not like hard criminal for this stuff to be happening. And then you have to look at it through both ways. If you mess around and got somebody that went to jail because they got a drinking problem or a drug problem, and they just so happen to be in prisons with straight up killers, which I don't agree with anyway. And by them being cheap and not having the funding or supplying the funding to have enough guards, you're mixing them in with these hardened criminals. That's why a lot of people, they go to jail for the first time or prison for the first time, and they were not hardened criminals when they went in, but they're going to come out one. And that's part of the reason. Because you letting all these people intermingle with each other, and then at the same time, you don't have the right amount of people to actually guard them, so they get corrupted by being pulled into with the wrong people to do the wrong thing at the wrong time.
So, Gordon.
So you basically created more criminals. I mean,
I'm asking a question.
Uh-huh.
What are the guards guarding the inmates for?
You said, what are the guards guarding the inmates for?
Yeah.
Well, for one, so they won't do crazy stuff.
Have an eye on every nigga 24/7.
So I'm like this, and I'm gonna just tell it like it is. When I was 22, I got locked up, and long story short, it's more people living in there than it is working there. So again, my question is, what are the guards guarding? If I could go there and I could do anything in there that I want to do at home, what are they there for?
Get a check.
I'm about to say, because that's...
I figure it's like this. Now that I'm not 22 and a fool with it no more, I never even consider going back anywhere like that unless I'm pushed to do it. But what I learned now is that it's just like the thing Yellow Paint says, 3 branches of government. That legislative and the judicial are the 2 that we need to focus more on, because the judges and the politicians are the people that, far as going to jail 20 years for getting caught with a QP or weed, they're the people that make that up. If you done took my weed and you got all my money and I done served jail time and lost everything I had, wouldn't you say it's safe to say I learned my lesson? You know what I'm saying? Why you want to put somebody, like when I was in there, I met this one lady, her husband left her without telling her. She got left with 5 kids. He started a business and ran off with some lady. Anyway, she took the checkbook and she did what she always do. Most people that's married to wives, that stay-at-home wives, all those wives do is write the check, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So she was writing checks to pay the car note, writing checks to pay the mortgage. Come to find out, this sucker had cleaned out the account because his name was on it. He went and made the withdrawal, cleaned out the account, left it empty. Here she done wrote checks for bills for 5 months. And everybody that she was writing checks for, they knew her. So they never did say nothing. They just kept taking the check, and it kept going through. You know, he was wealthy. So, like for somebody like me, you know, if you slide $100 through, that's about all you gonna get. Anyway, those checks built up to about 5 G's. And they arrested that lady, took her kids away from her. She lost everything she had. She proved that he closed the account without telling her, but she still got put in jail. That lady got 5 years for that. 5 years for writing a bad check when somebody didn't tell her they closed the account and they moved away from her. 5 years for an account that had her name on it. So again, some of these some of these judicial branches of government, politicians and judges, we need to start watching those people and learn. You know, a lot of people think Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton did us a favor. They the ones introduced this stiff drug penalty. I learned that while I was in there. They the ones that introduced that. You know, for somebody to get 20 years for a piece of crack. You know, what about the person that's smoking and stealing everything? What they get? Drug rehab.
Or the killers. That's what they talking about when they saying drug reform. Some of the penalties are ridiculous compared to others. It seemed like it was more engineered for the black community than anything else. Yeah, they did introduce that.
It was. And like the whole jail system is designed to keep minorities as slaves. If you gonna tell me my punishment is to be locked up for something, and then like when I was in there on a daily basis, you had something to do. You had to go, you know, to what we call KP or the mess hall. You had something to do. You had detail. You it wasn't just no sitting up in there. A lot of people think you sitting around watching TV and playing cards. No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, they are now.
No. You ain't
now.
sitting there watching TV. No, sir. I disagree. From experience, I disagree.
Now, shit, that might be where you went. They definitely do that now. Sit around and do absolutely nothing.
I still got people that's on the other side.
I know a bunch of them. They sitting around. I'm telling you, it's their choice now. Like the people that want to work or do something, they get time off.
Just sit up.
But then, like the people that's in there for life, they not getting no time off, so they don't give a shit. So they not gonna do anything.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you offer me time off, if you offer me good time, why ain't I gonna work it off if I want to go home sooner? Why ain't I?
Cause they lazy.
Somebody that if you constantly getting rolled up and you constantly getting violations and all your shit is restricted anyway, you can't get no visits, you can't go to the canteen, you can't do nothing. What am I work for? Just go ahead and keep writing me up until I done flat time.
That's it. It depends on where they at too, because that work release thing, all of them don't have that. Like some do, some like the county got it, but the penitentiary don't. They don't even have it at all. So the majority of them dudes sitting in the penitentiary just sitting around not doing a damn thing. I mean, unless they want to, to like go to education or something.
It depends on what custody you are too. You know, for the green and white, if you green and white, they try to give you like a job in the warden's office or working for the case manager or something like that to keep your mind off things. You know, they'll select people that's got bad checks or, you know, something like that. You can't be a violent offender. If you're a violent offender, you black and white. And if you in process and if somebody got a grudge against you, you in that motherfucking yellow jumpsuit until they get tired of looking at you in it.
You know what I say? Some do and some don't, but like your penitentiaries, no.
They have their own system within their own system. When you get in there, if the guards don't like you, or the officer don't like you, or the captain got a grudge, or you don't, you know, it just depends. It's a whole different world on the inside. Whole different world. It ain't nothing like what people think it is. You got to worry about the people that work there, and you got to worry double time about the people you laying in there sleeping beside at night.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to speak for the listeners out there who ain't built to that shit. All the motherfuckers like myself who don't know much about jail and pray, I die knowing even that.
You consider
I
lucky. I mean, my thing is, that whole